All right, hello everybody, and we're going to start here in a minute or so. Make sure that everyone gets in and that our stream starts properly. Okay, looks like we are live on all the different platforms. So, hello everybody, and welcome to the latest Anapod Pet and Anatad podcast. Hello everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Anatad podcast. My name is Nimmer. Today is September 26th, 2020. And this is episode number 53 as full episode podcast, and I am with you here from California, where we are about to start toasting again. And hello guests, привет, как дела? Ты говорит русский?
No, I don't speak Russian, but I'm from Russia. Hello.
Oh, okay. Hello.
I was one of the few Russians that didn't learn how to speak my language.
Well, hello, Marco.
Afternoon, or as it is at the moment, we're Sunday afternoon, and Nima, it's definitely not roasting here. It's, well, actually, it's not too bad today. It's about 15 degrees. Quite pleasant, actually. Nice day.
We're expecting 34, 37, 38, about 100 degrees U.S.
That's hot enough. Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
And Warren,
Warren,
here
is it
from...
roasting where you are? Is it hot?
No, actually it's cold today to where we actually turn on the heat. We're at 52 degrees. It's just cold in the house for some, unknown reason. And then, have a little bit of rain and a couple days now. So, no, it's really nice here. And I'm glad we have that rain because it's washing away all that ash from the fires we've had.
Oh, yeah, you guys had all of that going on for a while, eh?
Yeah,
Crazy.
so I'm glad to see that change and to actually see us turning on the heat, and it's just it's a nice welcome sight.
Very good. Well, I'm thankful to all of you who are here listening with us live. It looks like we have 3 at least at the moment. And we have a comment from Austin who says,
Come fast.
hi, and he says, nice mic. No, he doesn't say come fast today. I
Ah.
guess we beat him here today.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
And so I'm thankful that you guys are here with us today. And
Oh, by
if
the
you're
way,
listening,
Austin, you don't want to ever come fast. Just letting you know, my friend. Anyway.
Duck gun that boy. I mean Marco. Duck gun
definitely.
Marco.
now, if you're listening to this and you're enjoying our come fast jokes or any of the content that we put up here, it would be highly appreciated if you shared this podcast with your friends, and that way we can get the word out, increase our listeners. So it's good for us, but it's also good for you, as we can hopefully be able to get you some more content and that kind of thing as well. And we would also like it if you like and comment and leave us reviews. Anything like that is very helpful. So here's what we
Just what you want to hear or things you would like us to talk about. We cannot overemphasize that.
Yeah, so here's what we got cooking for today. We have a news section. We're going to have a couple of articles about some things that were announced this week. And then we're going to talk about the Envision app. Last week, we had an interview from Karthik, whatever his name is, from India. He's not from India, right?
Not from
he's
the
from
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
No, he's from the
Okay,
Netherlands.
he's from
Yeah,
Netherlands.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Originally from India.
Originally from India. Anyway, he was with us, and he did we discussed the Envision app, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do a demonstration of the Envision app, and we'll talk a little bit about what it's like to use on Android and on iOS. So if you are coming over from the other side, there'll be a little bit of something in here for you. So that we'll talk a little bit about that, and I think just in general have a wider discussion as to the landscape of OCR apps, features that we like and use and don't use, and things we'd possibly like to see in future apps, and that kind of thing. So we'll have that type of OCR discussion for a while. I know that that's been something that users have been wanting to see, although I think if we had that discussion every week, people would still like to see it. So users, this is for you.
It's a hot thing, bro. It's a hot thing.
We also have an app of the week. Warren will be demonstrating that. We haven't done an app of the week in a little bit, but Warren has an app of the week for us to discuss. So this is separate from Envision. And we also have a listener email that's kind of a bit of a tangent, and we'll try to get through it. It's just a longer one, but we'll try to get through it and do our best. And so that's what we have for this week. So jam-packed show. And we'll have a little bit of fun along the way. Let's see where we are with our numbers. Tabitha says, hey, hey. Hay's for horses. Okay, I'm a bad horse, I guess.
Tap.
And Austin says, yes, I must come slowly as possible. Yes. I don't know if that's good either. But
Oh, you never know. It's a good thing.
okay, let's see here. Let's start with the news, shall we? What's new in the news? And the first item in the news is I get to sing today because I like singing, so I'm going to sing Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Google. Happy birthday to you.
How old are you, baby?
Google is 22.
Oh, wow.
So
love
happy
it.
birthday to the Google.
A young lady, huh?
Well, I don't know about a lady.
I thought Google was just an it. But anyway.
You never know. You know, these days people are trying to change genders and all of that good stuff.
Wow.
You never know. Google could be a she.
Who knows?
So we have more than just me singing to celebrate Google's happy birthday
I
announcement.
joined you in there, bro. Come on.
Yes.
I had one
celebrate-
note at the very end. Very deep.
Yeah, very deep that probably nobody picked up on, but you know, for to celebrate Google's announcement, other than us singing, they are actually having some deals in some countries. Doesn't look like the U.S. is part of it yet, and may or may not be. I know they had the summer of deals going on here, so we'll see. But and certainly in parts of Europe and other places, some parts of Asia. They are Australia's is it on this as well. The Google Store is having different types of deals, 22% off in some places on certain items in the Google Store, Google Nest, that kind of thing, Nest thermostats, a number of items. So if you're interested in any kind of Google products, check that out. We'll put the link in the show notes as to where you can go and what kind of a code that you might need to enter for.
Do we have
for
an
that.
idea as to what countries are partaking in this at the moment, or?
We do. They're in the
I think
article.
people
Let's see.
should just
Quite a
check
number of
that
articles.
area.
There's, let's see. Let's pull up that article here.
Just maybe the mainstream ones, like do we have the UK or Australia or the US or Canada?
Maybe some Asian.
Well, we got the
India.
UK in here. Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, Netherlands, Italy, Ireland, Germany, France, Finland, Denmark,
So basically, Europe,
Belgium.
most of Europe.
and Austria are in here, but it is not available in Portugal yet, or maybe at all.
That's not good.
In Australia, you can get 22% off on certain items as well.
plastic time for you,
until
Marco.
28th of September.
No. It's okay. No,
So you better rush out and get those today.
Oh my.
no, I'm happy. It's all good.
Also, Japan is in the list.
Tell you what, though, I
Yeah.
might if Australia's got a 22% deal going, I wonder if you can get one of those new Google Homes for 22% off now.
I don't know about the new ones, but you can certainly get the Home Max for 22%
Home
off.
Max.
That's on the list.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be worth it.
In South Korea, 22% on different types of items. They're not all the same. So again, check the article. And Taiwan as well. So no deals are available in Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, and Thailand as of yet, or at all. Who knows? And it says
you
here
said, I
these
think,
deals
before-
are usually not available in the United States.
I was going to
So,
say, you said before the US isn't on the
And it
list,
could
so
be-
that's interesting.
That those,
yeah,
countries
they may show up tomorrow,
may
but
show up, when Google
Yeah.
announces whatever, and they'll get better deals. You never can tell.
yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, very good.
So check those out and maybe save yourself a little moolah, as Warren likes to say.
Oh, yeah.
No, September 30th is a big date in Google land. We're expecting a number of devices from Google. The reason I mentioned that is that they're going to be holding their event and probably will be live streaming that on their YouTube channel and that kind of thing. So check that out. We'll put an article, and that also goes into some of the rumored things that they will be announcing, possibly Pixel 5, Pixel 4a 5G, a new Nest speaker, and a Chromecast / TV type thing. Possibly.
Well, that's good. They need to bring
thermostat.
one of those new. They need to definitely update that thing. That's been a long time.
Yeah,
Definitely
so
interesting,
we've got a number of these items rolling out. So check that announcement out, September 30th. I have to say, I'm usually the first one in line to buy Pixel. In fact, last time Warren and I on the podcast, we did a demo, a Hot Wings demo. I think that's what we called it, where we
Well, it's the
unpacked
Hot
the
Wings,
Pixel
yeah.
4. And the reason we called it Hot Wings is that you can use your hand above the screen to wave at it. So if your hands are full of sauce from your wings, then you didn't need to touch your phone.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
I'm
why we
guessing
called
that's
it
not
that.
going to be the case this time around, Neil.
No, I'm not going to lose any sleep, and I'm not going to
This
waste
time
any
you're gonna
time
have
during my
some paper
workday.
towel.
This time, I am very happy with any other device except the Pixel device. Frankly, I'm not very pleased with the Pixel device.
I certainly won't be getting up at, I believe it's midnight.
I think it's
1 o'clock in
11
the morning.
a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, I was going to say 1
yeah.
Yeah, I won't be getting up at 1 or 3 o'clock in the morning to watch it, that's for sure. Might be
No.
something to mull over during the day, but yeah.
Yeah, so far it seems like the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5 are similar enough to where if you buy a Pixel 5, you're kind of silly. There's a little bit of added, you maybe get a little more premium build, you maybe get a little bit better, more RAM, that
More
kind
battery.
of thing. More battery. Other than that, you're really getting the same device for probably $200 less.
Yeah.
So if you get the Pixel 5 we don't know exactly, and we'll have to wait. I might change my tune when they're released, but from everything I'm seeing so far, you'd be silly to get the Pixel 5. Even the cameras are the same on the two devices. The processor's the same. The modem's the same.
Frankly, Nima,
Except for the
I'm on the
plastic.
I'm on the same
plastic of the
wavelength
4A.
as you, to be perfectly frank. I think, I don't know, I haven't even been excited. Any Pixel device that's come out this year has not been of any excitement to me at all, to be perfectly
I
honest.
like my 4A, so don't poo-poo my 4A.
Well, I think your 4A was a complete waste of dollar, personally. If I was going to get a 4A, I'd wait and get the 4A 5G. Now, that's the only Pixel.
I would have got the 4A 5G because at least
Yeah,
then
if I was-
you can take advantage of the 5G
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of things. 'cause
And the
otherwise,
two
what's the point?
cameras and just generally a better device and a better
That is
processor.
true.
If I was going to waste money on a Pixel this year,
Yep.
and I'm not, but if I was, I would certainly go for the 4A 5G.
Yeah.
I wouldn't waste any more money. Well, I guess the biggest reason to me to get a 5 would be the bigger battery, but I just don't think that's worth $200. I could
Do you
plug
really
in an
think that they're
external
going to make
battery
that much
pack.
of a difference between the battery? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be worth
From
it.
the specs, at least, it looks like the 5 is going to have a 4,000 milliamp battery, and the 4A 5G is going to have a 3,000 milliamp battery, a little bit above on each one of those. So yeah, quite a difference in the
Well, that's a
battery,
difference.
but still not worth $200 and some odd dollars to me. I think I'd rather plug in a
No.
battery
And
pack.
It's
4,000
not worth
milliamp
it.
batteries have been around forever, guys. Come on. Jeez, this is nothing new.
Well, you know, it's
Seriously.
Google.
Well,
And
my phone, which is an S10 Plus, which has been out for a year and a half, has got a 4,000 milliamp.
Yeah, the
yeah.
difference is though on
Seriously.
Pixel devices, because they're very well optimized, you're going to see a lot more
Oh, yeah,
battery life than you
you'll get
would
better
out of.
battery life, but I mean, I don't know.
I mean, a Samsung device's 4,000 milliamp battery doesn't really feel like frankly, it doesn't feel like a 4,000 milliamp battery. And that's probably
it's
why
not
they went to
really new
5,000
technology.
milliamp batteries. And by the way, I did an unboxing of a LG, and I
Yeah,
did
now
my
there's a battery.
thoughts
Yeah.
on the podcast. If you want to listen to that, there's a big difference between the 5,000 milliamp battery on that device and the 5,000 milliamp battery in something like an S20 Ultra. There's a huge difference.
I got to say, Nimmer,
in
I
that
checked
kind
out
of a
that video
battery.
after you'd put it up, and that LG, that's got some that's got some battery going on there, baby. Oh wow, that's a brilliant device in that term.
You know, so hopefully you guys go and listen to that, watch that on
Worth
YouTube.
looking
But
at, yeah.
I did some testing on that device. I left my house. So I did some network testing first at my house, and then I left my house with both devices, the LG and the Samsung. Did very intensive testing, testing the modem, running all kinds of speed testing, leaving I think a 15 or 20 minute Telegram message, very heavily, actively using the device for over an hour. I left my house at 100%. When I came back, that thing was at 96%. So maybe worth listening to if you care about a good battery.
The only
something I
thing,
want to add
obviously- Sorry, go
to
ahead,
that
Nimmer.
Pixel. I don't know if this rumor is true, but you know, this guy John Prosser is always dead right on the things that he puts up there on YouTube. He's saying that the announcement is going to be September 30th, but the whatever orders won't be going out till October the 15th, and that the 4A5G will not be till November the 19th or so. And I'm just kind of sitting here wondering and saying, well, maybe Google thinks, well, these devices are pretty similar, and why would anyone go to buy a 5 when you can buy, you know, a 4A 5G and have the same experience? And then, you know, come Black Friday, I might as well just wait till Black Friday if I'm you.
Yeah, but you
and
know
I'm
the
gonna
other
be
silly
buying that
thing though is that they're going to have their event on September 30. Why have their event 3 weeks almost before the actual release? That's stupid.
That's
Well,
usually
that's
the
what
case
happened
all
with
these
the 4A.
manufacturers.
You know, the 4A was
Yeah,
like
but people
that.
forget about it. Like if they're
all
trying to
these
pump up their
manufacturers
product,
do that. Even Samsung does that. Frankly,
yeah,
they
but
have
if they're
their
going to pump
all
up
announcement.
their
do.
product, they
They all
should
do.
just. I really think that this 4A, 5G, and 5. I would not be surprised if this is the hardest sell that they have in terms of getting rid of their product. Honestly,
So I think they want to
I
push the
suspect
5
probably the
first.
4A will sell. Their 5G,
4A will
the 4A
sell, but the
5G
5
might sell.
the 5 will be a
I
struggle.
think the 5A is going to be a flop. But you know,
well, I do.
flop.
yeah.
You know,
You
F
guys-
for 5 and F for flop.
Well, we're
I
not
think
being
that's
pessimistic.
exactly
We're
what
not
it'll be.
being pessimistic because, as Warren has said, you can essentially get a 4A 5G, which is pretty much the same as a 5.
Well, I guess
There's
that's why they
very
want to
little
delay
difference.
that 4A 5G till November the 19th.
Yeah, but any
so
smart
that they will
person's going to
sell.
look at that and go, "Well, stuff it. I'm not going to buy the 5. I'll just wait another month for the 4A 5G to come out." It's pointless.
But not when you're a fan and you're itching for that new smelly, good smell, new stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. It's
Keep
kind of
itching.
silly.
Austin says, Nimmer singing, let's sleep. Oh, yeah. All right. So we have another article here, and that is of the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE Fan Edition. We can't help but talk about that device. And if you, like Scott, by the way, Scott, if you're listening, you're at. Let me
trying
phrase
to
it
poo-poo
nicely.
my
If you
FE.
are listening to this podcast and you're saying you won't spend $100 on a device, then maybe you should probably go buy some bunch of paper and then draw yourself a phone or something. I don't know. Anyway,
He may take my S20 FE and shoot it out. You never know. It's can't.
anyway, in my view, this is by far the best deal at the moment in terms of mobile phone that you can get for the price. And
Absolutely.
if
Yeah.
I'm going to, so the Pixel is going to be around that, and I don't know the exact
Pixel
price.
is gonna be like
it's gonna be
$700
around
bucks.
that price, $700,
Yeah.
$650, $700.
$699.
And if I'm going to spend $650, $700 on that, where I could spend $599 right now
Yeah.
on the Galaxy S20 FE,
I'll tell you which one.
which one do you think I might go for, seeing as one has glass back and an 865 and a 120 hertz refresh screen and a on and on and on.
And
Which
arguably
one,
the
a
fastest,
bigger battery,
the best, arguably the best modem out of any of the phones out at the moment.
Yeah. Now, which one do you think I might go for?
I
Let's
think I
think.
might
One
go
saves me a little money, and
Saves you a lot of money. Nima, you can have a lot of lunches with
And I'm
that
going to take it a step
$100.
further. I'm going to take it a step further, Nima, and say, because I have said it on a specific group, that honestly, if you think that spending $599 for what I would regard as one of the better phones that's come out this year, probably not the best, but one of the better ones that's come out this year, if you think that's expensive, then you got rocks in your head. Seriously.
yes,
Well, they do.
I suspect that's true. Yeah, no, I
Because
definitely-
honestly, if you're
That's
if
a
you're
hard
stupid
head, my
enough,
man.
if you're stupid enough to go and spend $650, $700 on a phone that hasn't got anywhere near the specs of this particular phone, then yeah, good luck to you. Because I won't
That's
be
what
doing
I
it.
say.
and we know it's not all about specs, but it just seems like overall a much better phone.
And
you know,
also
like-
a phone that will it
Just
has
a much
already
better
guaranteed
phone.
they're going to update OS for 3
years.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
there's just no competition.
yeah.
There really isn't.
So anyway, it's going to be essentially it's the same phone, and this is really what's disappointing to me. It's the same phone as the Galaxy S20.
Yeah.
The biggest difference between that and the S20 is this one has a bigger battery and a plastic back.
Yeah. And I don't care. I like my
And-
plastic.
Moreover, it's essentially the same phone as the Note 20, including the plastic back. The only missing thing is the S Pen, but you still get a bigger battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I had just bought a Note 20, now I'm not talking about the Ultra, but if I had just bought a Note
basic
20,
Note
20,
20.
the
yeah.
basic
Yeah.
Note 20, or even the S20, I think I would be one disappointed puppy at
Yeah.
the moment.
I'd be wanting to return that. Not the Ultra, obviously. The basic Note 20. I'd be wanting to get that back to Mama.
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
would be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Charging $300 more for what? For nothing, basically, for a
nothing.
pin. Yeah,
If you can return it, I say return that thing to Mama, like Marco says, and get the
Yeah.
fan edition.
yeah.
Either
Now the
that, or
Ultra
if you
is going
can't
to have
return
a
it back
much
to
more
Mama,
premium
then sell
build.
it. If you can't return it to Mama, sell it, and you probably get the equivalent of what this thing's going to cost anyway, easily.
Yeah. Now the one thing with the S20 FE is it does have slightly less RAM, but honestly, you're not going to notice the difference.
You won't notice. I think it's
You're not
6,
going to
isn't
notice
it?
the
That's
difference.
6
6
gigs,
gigabytes
yeah.
of RAM.
Yeah, well,
That's
6
not
or 8's
bad.
not going to
Notice the
make any
difference.
difference.
No.
That's Pixel 4.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, you're not going to notice any
you're not going
difference.
to notice.
All right. So let's see. Do we have anything else in the news here? Nope. I think that's it in the news.
Actually, before we go away from the news, Nimmer, I think it's safe to say, and probably, yeah, I think you guys would agree, I think that's probably one of the best deals on any platform for bang for dollar. So $5.99, that's impressive. When
I think so,
only
too. I mean, I-
sacrificing-
with you,
that's
Marco.
excellent.
I agree
That is
with
an
you.
excellent deal. Wow.
I think so too. And actually, you know, in comparing it to something like the iPhone SE2, the S20 is a much more modern design, a much better screen, a higher refresh screen. So if you care about screens, a much superior modem. So
Absolutely.
you know, if you want a fast modem, 5G, all that stuff, a much superior, just general, I would say, experience and in terms
Camera's
of
better.
feel in the hand, camera's
Yep.
much better.
Yep.
So I can argue that
decent deal.
the SE2 is the best sort of a budget device, particularly on the iOS side, that still has a lot of good specs, and probably the best phone at $400.
Agree.
But I would say that the Galaxy is the best phone at a reasonable price.
Well, for bang for buck.
Yeah.
And you
for
have
what
a
you're getting,
5G
it's
to
excellent.
boot. Come on,
No, that's decent.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that.
And the other thing, the big thing also is the processor. You're getting an 865 as opposed to most of them that are throwing in 730s or 730Gs or 7 whatever. I mean, you're getting a
765,
far better processor. I mean, that's top of the line processor right
Yes.
there, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, very good.
Yep. Now, the one thing to know about its 5G, and it's just the same with some of these other stupid models of phones that keep coming out, is you're not going to get millimeter wave unless you buy the carrier branded versions, particularly the Verizon version, which is a complete
So
shame.
it's okay for those of us living out of the US, but if you're in the US, you want to, buy the carrier ones. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's a shame, and I wish I'm still some of the devices that don't have this issue would be the Note devices and the S20 Plus. Those two devices have the millimeter wave. Doesn't matter which, if you buy the unlocked one or the carrier, it doesn't matter. They have all the bands. Other than that, a lot of these phones are playing this game of, well, we're not going to give you all these bands, so it's just a shame. Even like some of the European bands that you guys use, some of the C band, the band N77, N78, we're going to need to have those in the U.S. in the next year or two because there's an auction going on, and the carriers are going to be buying up that spectrum. So you guys already have some of that in Europe or some other places, but that is locked. And so if we want those bands here in the States in the next year or two, we're going to have to buy brand new phones. So
it's
I don't
very
know.
frustrating that they're playing
it's
around with
really
this 5G
frustrating.
stuff. I don't know why
Yeah.
they're doing that. Considering back, I know it's quite a few years ago, but they never did this with the 4G. It's just a lot of mucking about. I don't understand why. Just throw everything in the phone and be done with it.
And the
Seriously.
good thing would
Yeah.
be for everybody to have the same whatever. Why can we just have that around the globe?
Well, they're trying to cut down price because as soon as you add millimeter wave to a phone, then you do increase the price
sure,
by
it's gonna
$50
be
bucks
more.
or something like that. But personally, I'd rather pay $50 more and get all
Yeah, but
the
if you're going to
bands,
become
but
if
I
you're a
don't know.
frequent traveler, and especially with COVID ending hopefully sooner rather than later, if you're traveling
Yeah.
frequently from Oz to the US, it's a pain.
Yeah,
It's really annoying, especially if you want to take advantage of that 5G stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's craziness.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyway, that's the way that these firms or these companies are going. So
well, it looks like
Wait,
we have
it's-
5 listeners, and we have no more comments. So I think we put Austin to sleep. All right.
Yeah.
The main section, we're going to talk about the Envision app. Now, Envision, if you haven't listened to the last podcast, please do. We have a really nice interview by Karthik, and he tells us all about Envision and what it is and the things they hope to do with it in the future. It is a really nice app. And what we're going to do is talk a little bit about the app, and Marco and Warren, one of the two, can do a demonstration of it on Android, and I'll just talk about how the interface differs on iOS, because it does differ a bit on iOS, and otherwise it works similarly on either platform. So
let me put this one out there first. And now, here's the one thing I don't like, and I'm going to be asking, excuse me, Karthik about this, is the PDF reading thing. Now, I tried it yesterday, and what I noticed is that whenever I turn off the screen, the playback stops, and I turn back the screen on, then it resumes the playback. And frankly,
I'm
if I'm
fine
going to
with
be
that. It's not a
blind,
book reader.
well, it's not a book reader, but if I'm reading a lengthy article or whatever,
That's why you use @voice or another book. I'm sorry, but this is one that I this is the first time I heard you say this, and I
yeah,
definitely
I don't
disagree
understand where
with
this
that.
is. I was going to say I don't understand where you're coming with this, because it's a PDF reader which is going to read page after page. That's what it's designed for.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
lock your screen and you want a book reader, then use a book reader app. This is intended as a OCR type thing, as something that you use when you're in class or something, not something that you're going to lock your screen and read your book or
Yeah.
your document.
I mean, if
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry,
read a
I don't
PDF
really
that's-
agree with this
if
one.
I'm going to read a PDF
why
that's
would
2
I?
or 3
Why would I?
pages, that's
Hey
what it's
guys,
for.
you have a different opinion. I have a different opinion. I have a 10-page something that I'm reading. I don't want to keep my phone on. What's the point? I'm not looking at the screen. Why in the hell do I want to keep the phone on?
Because a lot of the times when you're OCRing these documents, you're going to be interacting with whatever that text is. You're not going to just have a PDF that you say, "Oh, I just
Yeah, but then if
I'm,
that is
you know,
true,
I just
Nimmer,
want to read this book of mine, and
that
I'm going
is
to lock
true-
my screen and put it in my pocket." You know
no,
what I mean?
if that is true, then there shouldn't be a play button.
No, there definitely should be a
No,
play, but you want
there
the
should
thing to
be.
start reading.
No, if I'm going to be reading with my screen reader, there was no need for a play
You're
button.
not reading with your
I'm telling you
screen
now,
reader.
if I'm reading a PDF that's if I'm in class, for example, and I've got to say I've done quite a lot of PDFs with this thing. I actually think it's one of the better ones out there in terms of reading PDFs, especially scannable ones.
Yeah.
I think it does a pretty good job.
It does very well.
We would like to hear feedback from you.
I mean, why the heck
listeners
would I be in class
on
reading a
Annotat.
10-page PDF and then
No,
lock my phone, put
and
it in my pocket? I mean,
I
that's
don't want to
silliness.
keep my phone awake while I'm reading a 10-page article. That's just ridiculous.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You
make
mustn't
sense
be
to
very
me.
productive then.
Anyway, that's one of my beefs with that app. Let me put that out there.
Well, there's some of us that don't agree. So, Karthik, if you're listening to that, maybe think about whether or not you want to add that in there. I'm not opposed to options. So, if you want to create that as an option, have at it. But it's not something I would use, to be sure. Anyways, the Envision app. So, you're going to do a demo of that? One of you, Warren or Marco?
I want to show the scanning capability
Okay, good.
of the app. Now, one thing I want to say too is that if you're gonna do the scanning or the PDF recognition, you have to be online. You cannot do offline mode. Okay. All right. So here is that app. I have loaded it up, and we got 3 tabs at the top. We got the text, which is to the left, then the general, which is in the middle, and then the help. Now, in the help, you're going to find things like the settings and all of that. So by default, when you launch it, it defaults to the text mode.
General tab, 2 of 3.
So you see that?
Selected text tab, 1 of 3.
So then at the bottom, we have the following items starting from the left.
Start reading instantly. The pager.
We got start reading instantly,
Read document.
read document. That's like if you want to scan a document.
Tap this button to read multiple pages. Import a PDF file or an image.
And this is the one that you could either import some document that you either have existing on your phone or a PDF document. So you could use that to have it read it for you. Now, the General tab,
General tab, 2 of
which
3.
is
The list
the
of 3 items.
middle one at the top,
General, selected.
when you tap that, then the buttons at the bottom, the tabs at the bottom change, and this is what they change to. At the bottom, we've got
Describe scene, out of list.
from the left, describe scene,
Detect colors.
detect colors,
Scan barcode.
you scan the barcode,
Teach Envision.
and then you can teach Envision basically things that it doesn't know so that you could use them next time. Then the last tab at the top would be that which is the help.
Help, tab, 3 of 3. List. Help, selected.
Tapping that pops up a menu,
Account, heading, 1 of 19.
and we
List,
have
19 items.
account,
Account details, 2 of 19.
account details,
Check subscriptions, 3 of 19.
subscriptions,
Envision glasses, 5 of 19.
the Envision glasses that we talked about last week,
Help, heading, 6 of 19.
help.
Read tutorials, 7 of 19.
You can check out the tutorials here,
Give feedback, 8 of 19.
feedback.
Request a call, 9 of 19.
You could request a call,
Settings, heading, 10 of 19.
settings,
Offline text recognition, faster recognition option for languages based on Latin scripts. Checked on, switch, 11 of 19. Automatic language detection, when turned off. Envision will read all text to the phone system language only. Checked on, switch, 12 of 19. Text to speech, 13 of 19.
so
Color detection, 14 of 19. Dark mode, checked on, switch, 15 of 19. Processing sound, checked on, switch, 16 of 19.
now you can turn this off if you find the sound annoying when you're trying to recognize something. You could turn it off.
About Envision, 18 of 19. Share with friends, 19 of 19.
and then share with friends.
Text
All
feature,
right.
Envision AI.
Now I'm going to try
Envision
to
AI. Selected. Text. Tab. Free. List. The
scan
items.
something, and I always use this Baha'i book that I got because it lays flat on the table. And so I'm going to use that
Tap this button to read multiple pages. The PDF file or an image. The picture.
to,
Start reading instantly.
I'm going to tap on start reading instantly. I'm waiting for it. What happened?
Stop reading instantly.
Ah, what a shame.
All right. We've got some questions here, and I muted Warren so he can figure out whatever's. He's got some shame going on with his app. So let's see here. We've got Austin. You say that the 8T is launching with, on October 14th with 865V charging. Yeah, that's excellent. Very good. Tabitha wants to know if the barcode scanner works for you all. Sometimes I find to have better success with Lookout, but we'll get Warren in here to answer soon, and Marco as well. Scorpion, hello. Hey guys, he says. And let's see if, let's unmute Warren and see if he's figured out his problems. Welcome back, Warren.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is. I probably am holding it too close to the text. But it put me to shame. I'm going to try it one more time.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm going to switch to the document mode
Read document.
and see.
You have good lighting in there where you're at?
You can also manually take a picture by tapping the read
Or
document.
do you need to turn on your flash?
I have good lighting, but
Oh,
I don't
good.
know what happened. Well, anyway, oh, there we go. I heard it say something. This is quite a shame. It worked well for me yesterday, and now that I'm trying to demonstrate it, it just wouldn't work for a penny. So, but this is not to say that the app doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. It's probably I don't have good lighting in here.
Well, turn on your flash. Should help.
And that contributed to it.
Photo scan.
Nima, you go ahead and demonstrate it on Fruitvale iOS.
No, I'm saying turn on your flash.
Envision AI.
Well, I think it has the auto flash on.
Well, just turn it on anyway. See if it helps.
Let's see.
Read document.
That's a shame, though. It was working. I'm sorry. I'm gonna move from the. I'm gonna hold it higher. And see what happens.
Read document.
Ah.
You can also manually take a picture by tapping the
Do you have your flash turned on? Turn on your flash. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but where do I turn on the flash? I'm not seeing where to turn the flash on here.
selected. Help. Tab.
I don't see where to turn on the flash here.
19. List. 19. Account details.
You know?
Check subscript. Reorder. Help. Read tutorial. Give feedback.
Should be on the main page, right?
No, it's not on the main page.
Messages. One UI. Home. Button.
All that we have here in the main page.
Open
is-
Envision AI.
System UI. Tap it.
Opening. Envision AI.
Use biometric to authenticate with ROM. Tap to cancel authentication. Button. Try face unlock again. Tap to cancel authentication. Select. Tap this button. Select to disable. Help. Turn flash on. Button.
Yeah,
So I have a button that says turn flash on right on the home page on the text tab.
Turn flash on. Button. Start reading instantly. Pager. Turn flash on. Help. Tab. Free of read. Turn flash on.
Oh, the flash is just below the help. Let me try that and see what happens.
Start reading instantly. Pager.
Okay, well, what happened?
Document. You can also manually take a picture by tapping in the middle of the screen.
Oh, I know what's going on. I am very sorry. You know why? I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. And when you have a phone in Do Not Disturb mode, no sounds come through. That's what's going on. So, Marco, you'll have to edit this out. Let me turn off my Do Not Disturb.
Notifications paused by do not disturb.
That's what's going on. And I'm really sorry because this is really odd.
Photo scan. Envision AI.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
Selected. Text. Tab. 1 of 3 in list.
Okay.
Start reading instantly. In paper.
I hit the start reading instantly, and I thought I turned off my.
Read document. You can also manually take a picture by tapping in the middle of the screen.
So what happens if you tap in the middle of your screen and take a picture?
Take photo button.
Yeah, it's trying to take the picture.
Before you leave to read and write, you have to know the sounds of the letters. Reading the sounds of the letters is a foundation for learning to read and write.
Okay, so that's
Play button. Pause.
that's what. I think my do not disturb is still on.
Shade. On. Do not disturb. Switch.
Yeah,
Off.
there. So let me try that again, because this is such a shame. I'm really sorry. Okay,
Warren's having a shameful day, I guess.
I know.
Oh, well, I'm back from making a coffee.
Welcome back.
Hello.
So there's the
Did you put some rum in your coffee? Might as well have a chat
I
while
had enough
Warren's
of-
trying to figure it
I
out.
had
Here's-
enough of
here's-
that
here's the-
yesterday.
Okay, all right.
here, guys. Here's the
Word processing. 4 more items.
here's
Speed.
the
Folder.
instant read. It works.
Envision AI.
Wow,
Okay,
magic.
Watch.
Wow.
Selected. Text.
Okay,
1 of 3 in list. 3
watch
items.
this.
Start reading instantly. In
I'm
paper.
watching.
Virtues Aurora is dandy-eye, kind and joyful. Aurora possesses many virtues. Mrs. Paddle teaches the children about justice, generosity, humility, and honesty. She teaches them many human virtues. Story
Now
of
I'm gonna
country
switch
Norway.
to the
Some time
document
ago, there
mode.
lived a young shepherd who, while Nuss's father worked in the fields and
This sounds like a lovely book.
Middle of the screen.
Not
You
all
better
edges
lock
are
your
visible.
phone.
Not all edges are visible. Not all edges are visible. Not all edges are visible.
Please use a darker background.
Not all edges are visible.
Oh, come on.
Not all edges are visible.
Yeah, I know.
Not all edges are invisible.
Not all edges are visible. Not all edges are visible. Not all edges are visible.
I'll tell you what, if I had that voice going, I'd just about want to throw that plastic thing out the window.
Yes, I would too. So, how about the barcode? Did you guys try out the barcode feature? That's what Tabitha wants to know.
The barcode. Let's see. What do I have here that has a barcode? There's a camera here.
I
that
have
my
tried
one-
it in the past, and it used to work quite well. I haven't got
worked
anything
well.
in with the barcode.
I scanned some.
Yeah, it worked well enough for me. I tend to find that Lookout works a little bit better, but I think it's also trying to read product text as well. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
don't
barcode does
have
work
something
pretty well
with a
for me as
barcode
well. So,
that I could use. So, Tab, I'm really sorry. I was standing up to check to see what I have that has a barcode. But maybe Nima, if you talk about you're talking about the one on
all right,
iOS.
so let's
I'm
talk
gonna
about
go
the
grab
version
something.
on iOS. And
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab something with a barcode
okay, bye bye.
and come back real quick.
Let's talk about the version on iOS here for a second. The one on iOS we have, it looks similar to the one on Android.
Try again. Try again.
Just get your
the
voice a bit
fingerprint
louder. And then if you
Sensor
can-
on iOS is not very good. Yeah, let's get the voice way up.
Start reading instantly. Button.
There we go.
All right, so
No surface. State magnifier. Button.
we've got a magnifier button at the top of the screen.
Start reading it. Select general. Tab selected.
And
Text,
then along
tab,
the
1 of
bottom,
5.
we have some tabs here. We have text,
General. Tab 2 of 5.
general,
Scan and find. Tab 3 of 5.
scan and find,
Glasses. Tab 4 of 5.
glasses,
Help. Tab 5 of 5.
and help. So
Selected. Text. Tab
under
1
the
of 5.
text tab,
More action. Read. Start reading instantly.
we have
Button.
start reading instantly. This is the same mode that Warren demonstrated just now. It works quite well.
Read document. Button.
We have a read document. This is your document reading mode. So this is where it will help you line up the text and such.
More actions. Button.
Let's see what more actions has.
Read
But
multiple
before
pages.
you
Button.
before you go on, so I'm not sure if Warren did all of this, but I've got it up on mine now with the Android version. Essentially, I think from the looks of it, Nima, the iOS version is probably better laid out because it's not quite so... Well, you've got the buttons similarly, but not in exactly the same sort of nice reading order as you have. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it has a different layout to be sure, and I think it's just because the iOS one gets updated a bit faster than the Android one, and I think we were told last week the Android one would be seeing an update to add some of the couple of features that are
Yeah, I
on
think
the
that's
iOS
coming
side,
fairly
so-
shortly. Yeah.
We have under this More tab, we have read multiple pages. So instead of hitting the scan button, reading a single page, and then turning the page and doing it all over again, it's kind of a batch mode.
Import PDF button.
This is where you can go to import PDF,
Import image button.
import image, and if you do this, it will recognize what's in that PDF or in that image.
Cancel button.
And let's cancel.
Magnifier button. Start read more actions button. Selected text.
Okay,
tab,
let's
1
go
of 5.
to...
General tab.
We
2 of 5.
don't seem to have a flash on this flash setting in this tab. So that's a difference on the iOS side. Let's go to General.
No service.
Okay, I'm back.
Describe selected. General
Okay,
text. Tab,
that's
1 of
good.
5. Scan bar. Detect color. Describe scene.
We
button.
have
Describe scene.
Describe Scene,
Button. Detect colors. Button.
Detect Colors,
Scan barcode. Button.
and Scan Barcode. So that's the General tab, similar to that on Android, I think.
Text. Tab. Select. Scan and find. Tab.
We have
3 of
Scan
5.
and Find,
General text. Text. Tab. Teach Envision. Button. Find objects. Button.
Teach Envision, Find Objects,
Find people. Button.
Find People.
Find people. Button. Find people. Find object. Teach Envision.
And
button.
these are buttons kind of laid out at the bottom of the screen and from left to right. So that's
Find people.
Find
Button.
People,
Find objects.
Find
Button.
Objects,
Teach Envision.
and Teach
Button.
Envision.
Selected. Scan and glasses. Tab.
And then we
4
have
of
the
5.
glasses
It looks
tab.
like we have those sorts of options as well, but not as well laid out because that's under general. Although I think we're missing 1 or 2 of those options from what I can.
Yep, you're missing a couple
quickly see.
tabs. They do show
Yeah.
up in the menu, I think. So they're
Yeah.
just
Probably in the
differently laid
menu.
out.
Yeah.
So
I
let's
think
go
we
to
have those
glasses.
too, though.
Buy
Yeah.
Envision glasses. Button. Buy Envision
We
glasses.
can buy
Button.
Envision glasses,
Pair Envision glasses. Button.
pair Envision glasses,
Text. Tab. 1 of
and
5.
those are the options in there.
Help. Tab.
And then,
5
of course,
5.
we have the help section.
Check help. Check account. Help. Edit account. Account details. Check subscriptions. Lifetime
So
subscription.
these are
button.
all similar to the Android app account subscription.
Pre-order Envision glasses. Help. Read tutorials. Button.
Tutorials.
Give feedback. Button.
These are all similar. It's just a menu and help. So
Text. Tab. 1 of 5.
all right. So if you want to use the iOS one, it does work and it works pretty well. I think I have used it, and well, I don't think I've used it. I know I've used it, and I think that it works a bit better than Seeing AI personally. And Seeing AI does a pretty good job as well. But I just seem to like the Envision app. It just works a little bit faster and very accurate for things like text reading. So worth checking out, although Seeing AI is free and Envision is not. But I think...
And just looking at the subscriptions, because I know that Karthik was going on about this last week. If I've just actually gone into that area, so I think the prices he quoted might have been slightly out. So a monthly subscription in this country, it's only $1.50. Annual is $29.90 odd, and lifetime's $179. So
yeah,
interesting.
similar to the US ones. The monthly
That
one
is
is 99 cents.
99 cents
Yeah.
and $19 for annual.
$19.99
Which
for the
I think
annual
for a
one.
monthly or a yearly is actually quite reasonable.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
more
they have
than
gone
reasonable.
down. They used to be quite a bit
Yeah,
more. So
it was $200 for the lifetime, and now it's,
and now it's $100.
$99.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
$100.
So
definitely,
I
I
think, as we said
think
last
worth
week,
their
go
price.
the monthly or the yearly one potentially. I don't know if I go the lifetime, but the monthly. The yearly
I
is
would
quite
not go for
reasonable.
the lifetime one. If you go for the lifetime one, then you're very confident that within the next 6 or 7 years, nothing is going to happen to this app, because it'll take you at least that much time, and for the price it
to
won't
make
go
it
down.
back. Yeah.
It'll take you at least that much time to make up the price. I mean, of course, unless you just want to support the developer more, but
Yeah.
Yeah, which is okay too.
yeah.
So I brought something so we could try the barcode thing. I got Marco,
All right.
just for Marco. I got a bag of chips, my hot flaming Cheetos. And,
I thought that was your foray.
Tabitha says, interesting. I never got it to work for me. I wonder
So
why.
I'm gonna try that.
I don't
So I'm
know.
gonna tap on General, where we'll find the barcode.
General tab. 2 of 3.
So tapping that, and then at the bottom,
Scan barcode. Out of list.
I'm gonna find that scan barcode and see. Hey, did I not tap on it?
Scan barcode.
I'm not having luck today. There we
There you
go.
go. Now it's gone.
If you hear that you're not finding something, so I'm gonna flip it around. Ah, come on. Tap it
I
on
guess
my-
it's not working for Warren.
I don't know. It should work though. I've gotten it to work.
That's all right. These barcodes kind of are a bit hard to find, and this is where I like Lookout better because it not only does barcodes, but it tries to read the label at the same time.
It does.
And so you can usually tell what a product is that way. These kind of barcode things are finicky no matter which one you use, just because the barcode tends to be small enough and it's just hard to find on these packages. So
And the problem with a lot of these things, Nimmer, is they always put them on different spots.
they're always in a different
yeah,
place.
sometimes at the bottom, you know. Okay, I'm sorry. It's
So I'm not a fan of barcode apps.
It's not me neither.
And, so I'm just not a fan of
barcode
barcode
apps are
apps,
very
and that's
much
just
hit
what
and
it
miss,
is, so-
literally, for a blindy. I mean, you know, it's
Yeah, they are.
small area to work with. Could be anywhere on the packaging. It's just becomes fiddly. So
Yep, I agree.
Look out.
yeah, Lookout tends to do a better job, but there's no perfect app for this sort of stuff. It's just the way they are.
Yeah. All right, so real
wow.
quick, I mean, I wanted to have this conversation, and these apps, you know, already, like Envision is just one of them, and I think it works pretty well. We could be doing this demo for any of these apps, Speak, Lookout, it doesn't matter which one, and they do similarly. One of them is a little bit maybe better or something, or one of them has a little bit different interface, but essentially they're all the same apps. One of the things I'm in discussion, and I've talked about this on the show before with developers, is to try to get rid of modes. One of the problems I
course.
have with modes is when you have a lot of modes, your eyeballs don't have modes, and you're not going to stop, you know, when you're walking down the road to say, hey, let me change this mode, because all of a sudden, instead of reading, you know, the text that's around me, I all of a sudden want to identify a product, so I need to find a barcode, so I need to change the mode. No, it doesn't work that way. One of the apps, and I'm considering doing a travel podcast, so maybe stay tuned for that, but one of the apps that I use is called The Voice, and it works really well.
That is a cool app.
It does turn everything that the camera sees into soundscapes, but beyond that, and I think that feature should not be understated because it's very valuable. I was playing around with it. Well, I do a lot of using it, but I was playing around with following the lines on the crosswalks today, and that was kind of interesting.
Well, actually, Nimmer, I started playing around with it because of your high recommendations. I think when we were talking, it must have been last week on the show.
Yeah.
And I actually managed to not use a cane. Now, I did this at night time because I knew there wouldn't be anyone around, but not use a cane and walk along a couple of streets nearby to my house, and I managed to follow, with this app, the grass verge.
Yes.
Because you can actually, and the soundscapes, I know that for somebody that's coming into this app, you're going to find it potentially quite frustrating. You've really got to persevere. But once you get used to it, it's really quite impressive.
Yeah.
It really is. I was very, very impressed with how accurate it was.
And it's really powerful in that you can also use color filters. So if you're looking for something that's red, then you can enable that color filter. If you drop a white cane or red cane, or the cane that has red tape on it or something on the ground, you're looking for that cane. Very easy to enable that red filter. Some of the canes here have red on them, and or white or whatever. You know, they have different color filters. Or if you're looking, your Uber's coming and you're looking for a particular color Uber, you know, it'll say.
Well, I was amazed with the color thing because again, I was doing this at night. I put it on actually for a blue color filter, and I was able to find what I would assume was a blue car. Now, obviously, I can't be 100%, but it was even able to find that at nighttime. So it was pretty impressive.
So, but one of those, so I wouldn't discount the soundscapes, but one of the things that it does in these mode discussions that I'm having is that in the settings, you can enable, I want to have barcodes announced. I want to have face detection on. I want to have text read out. And it's not just one at a time, it's all of them that you have enabled. So as soon as it sees a face, it will tell you face left, face up, face right, face center, As soon as it sees a barcode, it'll tell you that, it's found this barcode. This is what it is. As soon as it sees a, whatever it is, whatever you have enabled. And that I'm fine with. Being able to check and uncheck what you want to hear, kind of filter out what you want to hear, I'm fine with that. The problem I have with the modes is that you can really only do one at a time, and you have to very intentionally stop to enable the one that you want.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you really want to... I mean, if you're walking along, you want it to be seamless, or as seamless as possible.
Yeah, and
You
I
don't
do
wanna be
walk
mucking
around.
about
So
with that.
during the daytime, I'll just talk a little bit about my setup. I have a pair of Vision 800 glasses. These are Chinese glasses that are about $150 on eBay, somewhere around there. Quite, a little bit higher price than I would think that they're worth, except that I don't really put a price on being able to use the voice in a portable way, and I think it's a really nice app. So I do buy them, and these are running like Android 4.4 or something like that, really old version of Android. Camera is 8 megapixel or 5 megapixel, not the best camera, definitely not good in low light. But during the daytime,
8 megapixels good enough during the daytime. Yeah, that's good.
during the daytime, it works really well. It doesn't have like a night sight or anything like that, but during the daytime, it works well. And even at night, it's enough to where you can follow the lines on a sidewalk or something like that. And it works really well. And I have that attached to a battery pack because the battery on its own would last something like an hour and a half or an hour to an hour and a half of constant usage. So I just have it plugged into a battery pack, and that works really well. And then at night, I can just mount my phone to my forehead using a GoPro mount, or just carry it in my hand, and you can use your phone, and that works well too. And actually, the camera on the phone is better. But with the voice or any of these OCR apps, the more cameras you have, the better the camera. It doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get better results, just because these apps aren't really taking advantage of all the power of the camera, all the cameras can do. So just because a camera is necessarily better on paper doesn't mean it's going to be. I mean, as an example, my phone camera isn't that much better during the daytime. At night, it makes a big difference because it does low light mode.
And it's also got a lot to do... I mean, different users are going to get different results. It depends on how good your directional sense is. It depends... there's a lot of factors, and this is why I will always argue with people that say, oh, this app's crap because it doesn't do this, or it's good because it does this, but... Everyone's going to have different results.
They do.
Just depending on your ability or whatever you're good at. You might be good at, I don't know, every time that you walk out of your house that you're walking east, or you might know that certain signs should appear here, but other people wouldn't know that. So everyone's user case is going to be different.
The 800 glasses that you talked about, so does that work by you pairing it to your phone via Bluetooth, or does it actually receive like...
Oh, no, it has its own camera and its own, it's its own, pretty much an Android phone. It's just
so
in the shape
you
of
can
glasses.
actually
It
install
does
the app
AR.
on it?
Yes, you run the app directly on the glasses themselves.
Yeah, you don't need a
Okay.
phone at all.
Harshad says, is the voice on the Play Store? Yes, it is on the Play
yeah.
Store.
Absolutely.
Now, one thing that if you first open the app, it's going to immediately start with the soundscapes. And if you've never heard them before, they're screechy.
It may scare the daylights out of you.
All right. Now, there's a mute button. You can mute the soundscapes. You can turn up the sound of your TTS or turn down the volume of the voice, just the normal way that you turn up and down volumes. So you can then tap on options, and you can view all the options in there. If you go into the settings, you can actually disable the soundscapes altogether. I really think that if you're going to learn to use the voice, you should learn to use the soundscapes, and they have a nice little tutorial on their site, or you could just walk around and experiment. But if you don't want to use the soundscapes and you want to use the OCR, one of the best things that I like about it is when it sees text, it reads it in the direction of the text. So if the text is on your left, it reads it on your left. And if it starts reading garbled text on your left side, or it just says text on your left side, then hey, I should turn the camera, I should turn my head and face that direction, and maybe I'll capture some better results. So I really like that, and it also helps with signs and stuff, so you know what direction the text is coming from. So
And the other
definitely
thing
an
about
app that I recommend.
The other thing about the soundscapes, and as you just said, Nima, I know that they're going to be very frustrating, and it'll take, like I was playing around with it over the last week, it took me a good day or so to get used to it and to really perfect it. You've really got to give it a chance. Don't just go into it for 10 minutes and go, oh, this is too hard. Just give it a good go, a good day or two, just try it. It's really worth it. You're going to get far more out of the app, honestly, using the soundscapes. It really does make a difference.
If you don't like the particular ones that it uses, in the options, in the settings, there is one that's called Enable Musical Soundscapes or something like that. And enabling that, you don't quite get the same level of detail, but you do get some users will say nicer soundscapes, a little bit more pleasant listening.
Yeah.
So, it might be something that, if you have a problem at first with the regular ones, maybe try out the musical ones or just turn them off. But as I said, I recommend that you play around with it. And
the other thing
really
is,
do
you
a lot
said
with
before, Nimrod, just turn them down. Like, seriously,
Yes.
turn your TTS right up, or not right up, but turn your TTS well above the soundscape, because they don't need to be blaring at you.
No,
You
in
only
fact,
need
the
to
best
hear
way
them,
to use
so-
the voice is you can barely hear the soundscape. I mean, you want to
Soundscape.
hear them well enough to get the detail, but you don't want to have it interfering with your daily whatever you're doing.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But yeah, and that's definitely one of the better apps, and I'm glad that you did mention that last week, because I had looked at it a while back and not really looked at it properly, but it's definitely anybody out there that does do a lot of walking around, or especially if you're in different environments or new environments, definitely worth looking at.
I
Absolutely.
look at new environments just to be able to tell, where the crosswalk is on a particular complex intersection or something. It's really helpful.
Or even if you're looking for a doorway that you've never
a
been to,
doorway.
at least you can easily find where there's a gap or where there's a,
Yes.
like there should be a door there. I mean, it definitely makes life a bit easier. Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's our OCR discussion. But if you have any questions on OCR, my best advice to you is download an app, play around with it, use it, figure out if it works well for you, see if you like it, see if it meets your needs. And if it does, don't bother looking for a different one.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of these on the Play Store.
And it's the same with all the OCR stuff. I mean, there's
next
heaps,
time
and
you
we've said
come
there's
on the
heaps of them
mailing
out
list,
there.
and if you're going to ask which OCR works best, I'm probably going to send a long rant about how there's a billion apps. And
Don't do that.
Well, this is a fair warning. I think this is kind of in the same league as radio apps. Okay, look, if you just download it, try it out. Here's a bunch of them that exist. We've mentioned quite a number on here. We've had a demo of the guy that has Speak, and another one with the guy that does ID.
If you go into the Play Store and type in Envision AI, there'll probably be half a dozen of other apps that'll pop up. If you don't like Envision AI, play around with those other half a dozen.
Sullivan Plus. There's a ton of these things.
There's
so
heaps.
But anyways, I want to thank Karthik for coming on our show last week and for agreeing to let us know about what's coming ahead in the app. Also for providing us with a demo subscription of the app. We truly appreciate that, to be able to demo that for you guys. Definitely, truly appreciate Karthik from the Envision AI team. And we look forward to seeing what comes next with it.
And if you're a developer out there listening and you'd like us to demo out your app, because we're all for demoing any app that's blind or visually impaired, just flick us through an email, antitledpodcast@gmail.com. We're definitely up for that. So.
Yes, definitely. Yep. We just ask that you promote us, and we'll we'll help you out too, and we'd love to demo it. And Warren, he's got an app for us. So
I got a little app that I talked about, I think, on the forum. It's called Crypt It.
Kryptonite, something like that.
Crypt It. So
Is
it's
that made by
Crypt It.
Deep Purple?
It's like coming fast. So Crypt It is from a developer called HexonCode, HexonCode, HexonCode. So it's Crypt It, CRYPT space IT, Crypt It. All right, so I'm gonna launch Crypt It. It's very simplistic. I love apps that are simplistic.
Google Wiki, Crypt It.
So I open up
Crypt It. Welcome, pager.
the welcome, and at the bottom, of course, you got this is a tutorial page, and you have the
Skip out of pager.
there's a skip on the left most, and then there's next,
Next.
which is to the bottom right, and in the middle is the one that doesn't speak, but that would be like if I had tapped on next, then that if I tap on that one, it will take me back to previous. So,
Next. Out of
but
paper.
so you just go next
With a Encrypt.
and next.
With a 256-bit military-grade encryption algorithm, three-way key salting and multi-level remuneration, we ensure the files we encrypt can never be touched or fiddled with without your consent.
Okay,
Next. Out of paper.
next.
Files encrypted by Crypt It can only be decrypted by its own unique algorithm accompanied by your provided password or fingerprint. Just Crypt It. That's it.
So you could either use your you could use a password or use your fingerprint reader if your phone has one of those. I'm gonna go to next.
Next. Out of
Of
paper.
course, my Pixel 4 doesn't have that, and I don't believe that this thing supports face recognition. Okay,
To respect your privacy and satisfy your files, don't leave your device. Encryption and decryption are done locally and without the internet. To ensure only genuine and non-tampered copies of the app are functional, we perform a purchase and integrity check on the first launch, which requires internet access. In paper.
all right.
Start. Out of paper.
So at the end of it, there's a start.
Allow Crypt It to access photos, media, and files on your device. Allow button. Deny button.
So you get either allow or deny.
Allow button. Crypt It. Encrypt.
So by default, now that we're on this page, near the top, middle of the phone,
Choose a file. In paper.
you have choose a file, which means you could choose a file that you would like to encrypt. And below that,
Not checked. Delete input file post encryption. Checkbox.
you could tell it to delete the file after encryption or not to delete the file.
Password. Enter password. Edit box.
So the password would be for the file that you want to encrypt.
Password. Confirm password. Edit box.
And you have to reconfirm that password.
Encrypt with password. Button.
And then when you've done that, then tap on encrypt with password. And now at the bottom, we have these tabs. On the left,
Selected. Encrypt. Out of paper.
that's the encryption by default. That's the one on the left.
Encrypt.
Then there's a decryption in the middle.
Explorer.
And Explorer will be, if I tap here, will take me to the list of files that I have encrypted. So I'm going to go up here,
Choose a file. In paper.
tap, choose a file, and it's going to launch where you can,
App backup. Row 1. Column 3. In grid. 5 rows. 4 Android. Column 2.
let me see. So if I want to encrypt,
Move manager. Row 3.
Maybe.
Column 3. Kindle. Column 2. E-documents. Column 3. Download.
I
Column 4.
don't have much
Movies. Move manager.
here.
Column 3.
So
Notification. Kindle. Row 3.
I'm going to tap
Documents. Row 2. Column 3.
on
Move manager. Row 3.
my ML manager. I don't think I have
Telegram. Row 5.
anything in there.
Pictures. Row 4.
I should
Notifications. Column 2.
encrypt Michael's voice message or something crazy like that, you know,
Column 1.
from Telegram.
Kindle. Row 3. Column 2.
Okay,
Documents. Row 2.
documents.
Row 1. Template. Row 1. Column 3. Simple audio book player. Column 2.
I don't have anything in my documents. So
Choose a file. In paper.
this phone doesn't really, it's not my media device.
Audiobooks. Row 1.
So
Column 4.
I
In
don't have
Download. Row 2.
anything on here. So
Row
let's
one,
see
column
if I have any downloads.
Row 1. Column 1.
I don't have anything here, guys. So, but you got the idea. The whole idea is just to choose that file and go choose what you want. Once you have the file, then you type in the password that you would like to use in encrypting the file with. And of course, you can choose to either delete the source file or not to delete the source file. And then once you have that, all those parameters met, then you can tap on the
Encrypt with device ID. Button. In paper.
encrypt with password in word or encrypt with a device ID. That means like if your phone has a fingerprint reader. So the app again is very simplistic. I'm gonna put the URL, and Nima is gonna put it up there. I believe I already have it there. So if you like it, you'll get it. It was for, I don't remember, I think it was 99 cents when I posted it. It was free, but by now I believe that app is back to its normal price. But if you like hiding stuff, this is definitely something you want to get. That will be Crypt It.
So, if you don't delete the source file, then what's the point of encrypting it if you don't delete the source file and you have the
Yeah.
source file still there
Well,
and
it
encrypted
does
one's still
offer
there?
you to delete the source file if you want. Yeah.
That's good. The other thing is, if your phone is already encrypted, then why would you want to double encrypt it?
Well, if your phone is encrypted, and if I have my file on, if someone grabs my device, he can access all of my phones. Most especially if I, let's say I didn't, turn off my screen. I just jump quickly to get something, and someone grabs it. Of course, they're going to see my files. So there you go. The whole idea is to be able to.
So what kind of encryption do they use?
Oh, it says it uses the, what did it say at that, welcome screen? I was, the is whatever, 250, whatever.
Oh, is that good encryption or can that be hacked?
Device unlocked. Pixel launcher.
Austin?
Accessibility volume
I don't know, maybe, and this is from,
I assume it's using AES 256.
is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think
Well, I don't
so.
know. You're telling the story.
Well, I could look back at the, what the welcome thing says, though, because it did say
Office viewer. WordPass. Crypt It.
what it is. So here I just cleared the I thought I cleared it now. So
I don't know. Personally, unless you have multiple people using your phone, I don't really have any purpose for this kind of an app. But I mean, I'm glad that it exists. So I guess
yeah,
The other thing
well,
is,
try
can
it
you
out.
encrypt multiple files, or do you have to encrypt one at a time?
I didn't see where you can encrypt multiple. I mean, when you go to choose the files,
Like, can you do directories?
I'm-
Let's say I
I'm-
had a directory that's got 100 files in it and I wanted to encrypt all of them. Would I have to go one file at a time, or could I just do the whole directory?
I don't know. I will have to try that on my media device to see if there's like check boxes that if you check one of the files, and then you could something that you could tap and say, hey, select all or something of the sort, and then choose to encrypt all of that. Now, I don't recall seeing such a feature in the description of the app, but again, I wasn't paying attention to see if it does such things, so I can't say for sure.
I wonder if commentary will decrypt that kind of encryption.
It might. You never know. It's a powerful Chinese thing.
I don't think it will.
underestimate.
But anyway, let's.
Don't underestimate that.
What
Anyway.
sort of encryption or decryption are we talking about there?
Never underestimate it.
Oh, William has an interesting question. How do the glasses work? Can you easily enable and disable TalkBack? So the Envision glasses, you can run TalkBack, and you can install Play Store apps. Now, there's some limitations of the glasses you should be aware of, or like anything else, right? So there's only 2 gigabytes of storage on these glasses. These are Chinese-typed glasses, and I don't have them for any other purpose than running the voice. They do come with some Chinese apps. You'll know they're Chinese apps because
Commentary?
when you try to read them, no. But when you do try to read them, they will say nothing because the TTS just doesn't read them.
Yeah.
So you can uninstall those.
Chinese spy.
Yeah, well, there's nothing. Yeah,
Does it have a Baidu on there or something crazy like that?
No, it's running the Play Store, and anything else that's on there that doesn't have a name, you can just remove it. It
When
doesn't
you
need
turn
to
it
be
on,
there.
does it go Hawa?
No, hello.
Come on, Marco, don't.
TalkBack. In order to get that working, you may need sighted assistance in the beginning. And the reason that you may need sighted assistance is because this thing doesn't have a keyboard. It doesn't have any input method other than a little rocker thing that goes left and right. And it does have a USB port, and it does come with a mouse. So
I
you
might have
can
to get my
plug-
wife to help me out then.
Yeah, it does come with your wife Tracy. It does come
Yeah.
with a wireless mouse that you can plug in the USB port, and you can also plug in an external keyboard. So as soon as you get somebody to enable TalkBack on that thing, which hopefully you can get somebody to
So
help
out
with
of
that.
interest,
It
how
doesn't
did you
take
manage
too
to
much.
get that on? Nima, because you obviously haven't. You're on your own there. How did you? get that on, in all sincerity?
I ran it through ADB. The first time I had a pair of these and they broke. The first time I had a pair of these, I had a coworker turn TalkBack on, and after that, I figured out, some way around that using ADB. Now, really, you're probably going to want sighted assistance to get these turned on, and just to get the TalkBack enabled. Once you get TalkBack enabled, you can use an external keyboard, and I recommend using an external keyboard to control the glasses. You can
then
use
the
you
foldable
can use
keyboards
the
come
rocker.
handy.
Yeah, you can use the rocker thing, the rocker to sort of go up and down, but sometimes TalkBack doesn't scroll properly and it'll get stuck somewhere, like in the Play Store, for instance. It's very difficult to get to the search button, and if you don't have a keyboard, you can't type anyway. So you definitely want to plug in an external keyboard, and that'll help get you set up on Wi-Fi, and that'll help get you on the Play Store and install the voice. Now, once you get the
So
voice
obviously do all
installed,
the setting up first with the external keyboard prior to using it.
right? Once you get the voice installed, the voice is automatically going to start automatically when it's running on a pair of glasses like that. So as soon as you boot up the glasses, the voice will start, and the voice is self-voicing. So you do not need TalkBack at that point, or I have TalkBack still running. That's just in case something does happen to the voice, or I need to access another part of the glasses. TalkBack's still running. So either way is fine, but you can keep TalkBack running, and then the voice will automatically start up. And as I said, that's the only thing I use it for. And 99 times out of 100, the voice starts up, no dramas, no problem at all. In fact, I think the only time that something happened was when I was using the rocker, and somehow I hit exit on the voice or something like that. So, anyway, it's a workable solution. The biggest problem is just getting it set up. Getting TalkBack turned on in the first place. But once you do that, as long as you have a USB keyboard, and the sound comes out of it has 2 earphones, and they use it. They use one of the little jacks. It's not a 3.5 millimeter jack. It's like a 2.5 millimeter jack. It's a little
Tiny.
jack.
Yeah.
And there's 1 earphone per side, so it's tiny earphone that has like a, I don't know, 6 centimeter cord, or less than that even, a short little cord that plugs in on both legs of the glasses.
So you could use one ear and not worry about the
You can use
other
one
ear.
ear, or you can use both ears, and that's just to do the setup. Now, I recommend that if you're going to use these things, that you use Bluetooth headphones, that you get a pair of like the bone conduction headphones, or something that's not going to block out sound, or something that'll give you pass-through audio. And then you use Bluetooth headphones moving forward. I'm saying that these things come with the little headphones because you'll want to use those in the very beginning when you do the setup. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you get TalkBack on, you won't be able to hear it. So
Yeah. So Nimmer, does it come with TalkBack built in, or does one have to install it from the Play Store?
it does come with TalkBack installed.
Okay.
Pretty sure, yeah, it does come with TalkBack installed, and then you just have to go into the accessibility settings and turn it on. Now, I'm sure it's a very old version of TalkBack, but it does come with TalkBack
But it's
installed.
It works. Yeah. That's all
But
that
obviously, the
matters,
2 gigs that you have, then you'd only be able to install a couple of things anyway. So you
Yeah, I don't know what
You have
else
to
you'd
use
want
that
installed,
wisely.
really.
Yeah,
The only thing I use it
yeah.
for is the voice. If you really want other apps, I suppose you could probably put a couple more on, but I don't know why you'd want to. I'd only use it for the voice.
Well, I'm thinking of people.
that's
I mean, I'm sure there's some people that would want to put IRA or something on there. I don't know if that would even.
IRA
work.
would not work. Yeah,
probably not,
IRA definitely would not work for whatever. It's running a very old version
the
of
old-
Android, so
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to have something that would work under Android 4.4 or 4. Whatever it is that's on there. So
Yeah.
the voice for Android, for those interested to install, as the voice will yield a lot of nonsense, according to Harshad. I'm not sure what this means. It does have some interesting sound effects, but we already talked about that. I don't know what a lot of nonsense means. It is self-voicing, but anyway.
I think maybe it's the soundscapes he's making reference to.
Yeah, well, we already talked about that. All right, let's go to listener emails.
Oh yeah.
We got quite a lot of spam this week, but in the midst of that, I've got a real
No
message.
moolah! Oh, doggone it.
Yep, in the midst of all that spam, we got a real email. I don't know why we're getting so much spam, but I'm going to go through and read this email. I apologize. It's a little bit lengthy, but I think might spur us to have a good discussion. So let's go through here. Got it to remember all your names. Well, I'm Nimmer, and we have Marco, and we have Warren. So yes,
and who's
interesting
this
names.
listener? Hello. Do we know who
This is
person is?
from Mystery Magic.
Oh,
Mystery magic.
Yep.
okay.
Are you sure it's not coming from Marco? No, Marco.
Nope.
If I catch you playing,
No. I wouldn't call myself Mystery Magic, that's for sure.
oh my.
Nope. This is a real person that they wrote us before. So, dear team, it might appear that I based of all my following thoughts upon listening to one podcast episode, but I would like to assure you that I use Android, so I am a person who stays on top of all things related to Android. Recently, I stumbled across Joe Rogan's podcast where he talked to Edward Snowden, and they discussed how the monoculture of Apple ecosystem makes it the preferred target for hackers, as it's like hack one, hack millions. It doesn't help that mostly all of the rich and important people will have iPhones. On the Android side, because there are so many skins and flavors, even if you hack one, you have at least potential hundreds of others to go. And the thought then came to my mind, updates is a big problem on Android because there are so many manufacturers and their own flavors. And on the iOS side, you have avoided these all issues, but you are now a target for hackers from all around the world. It makes me wonder what's the best approach. Be diversified and make it tedious for hackers to target you, or be monocultured and be a preferable target for hackers. Fruitvale has the regular software updates in its defense, but we often tend to ignore that Android is open source, and hence it is more openly scrutinized for security issues. Surely Apple can have an army of engineers protecting its garden, but since Android is open, you have potentially unlimited number of people looking closely at it and fixing things, whether for their own use or for the benefit of all. I think Fruitvale fans should accept that there is not a comfortable position either. I love Fruitvale for their keenness and details and design thinking, but when you start building up a club of exclusives, the excluded will try to infiltrate the system. Would love to know the team's thought on this. Thank you, Miss Tragical. P.S. What is the story behind Fruitvale? Well, Fruitvale was initiated from Warren, who doesn't like to say Apple, so he says Fruitvale. And I think it was also a thing to piss off Scott as well. So.
You know what? We do have a Fruitvale street here in my neighboring city here. It's called Fruitvale. And frankly, when we talk about Apple, Fruitvale always comes to mind. And so that's why I got
Feel free to come up with an Android name. I think I had one, but I forgot what it was. But anyway, feel free to come up with one.
But I've forgotten it as well.
Yeah. Anyway, in this discussion of what's better, open source or being locked in but being a target for hackers, it's all this, what you've said is true. Apple is definitely a target for hackers, and the fact that it's very closed off makes it difficult to know exactly what's going on. And on the other side of that, being more open and having so many devices does leave you more open to security vulnerabilities, potentially, but also makes it easier to secure, essentially, because so many are looking at source code that whatever source code is available anyway. It's kind of an interesting thing, and I tend to say that the iOS side is more secure as a whole. But again, that's just what we know and what we think. And since iOS, nobody really sees the code, we don't really actually know.
Well, this is where it comes to whether you trust them as a provider, and you're not able to see the code. essentially you don't really know what's going on, and essentially you don't really know what security they're doing.
Yeah.
So it depends on whether you trust who you're utilizing for your phone usage.
Now, I do know
think
that they have
they've
gone
changed
along.
a lot. Yeah, they have changed a lot over the last couple of years. I think you can go on with that, Nimmer.
Yeah, they have gone a long way towards, when I think about the privacy that Apple has and the type of encryption that's being used and a lot of their policies as a company tend to be miles ahead of what Android manufacturers in the past have been. Now, Google has slowly been catching up, Samsung's slowly catching up, but frankly, Apple is leagues ahead, and when a lot of these things come on the Android side, these privacy and permission settings and all that tends to be because Apple kind of did it first. And same thing like encryption. Apple had all their devices encrypted far before Android did. Apple has iMessages, which are all end-to-end encrypted. Android text messages, frankly, are not.
And also the Android RCS stuff is frankly a joke.
Yeah. So, I think when I think about like what even companies have a lot of restrictions as to which Android devices they allow and for how long, and Android updates, devices get updated a lot less for a lot less time than an iOS device. An iOS one will give you updates for at least 5 years, if not more. I tend to be on the side of I trust Apple and its security and its protection of users more than I trust Android. But Android has improved, but as an example, on the Android side, we have Face ID, but the only secure Face ID is the one that you get on a Pixel. Yeah. No Face ID on an Android device is safe. Can be fooled with a picture. It's not very good.
Oh, the Samsung Face ID is a joke. Really.
Samsung's is a complete joke. It doesn't work in very low lighting situations, that kind of thing. It's just a joke. And any manufacturer other than Google is going to be like that. And from what I've seen, the rumors, Google's gotten rid of their Face ID now. So
well, it's not going to be on the 5 then.
Well, the only one that's really got any decent Face ID, let's face it, is Apple. I mean, their Face ID is pretty decent.
And it's secure. And I said secure. Pixel was that way, but it's no longer that way. No. And so I don't know. I say that I trust Apple's security, but I think that if we knew what was going on behind the scenes, I might change my mind. And just because something is open source doesn't actually mean that you have an unlimited number of users looking at it. People are capable as long as they have the knowledge, the skills, and the company puts out the most recent code. And not all parts of Android are open source. As we know, some apps definitely are not, or components or parts. So it's interesting. It's... From my viewpoint, I tend to be on the side of Apple, but I think that Android has come a long way, and I think it depends on the Android device that we're talking about here.
And it depends a lot. Like when I came across the Android early last year, it depends on what you really want. I got sick of the closed nature of certain things. I got sick of the fact that it was difficult to copy stuff. That was one of the main reasons, actually, to copy stuff. And I hated iTunes. Now, all of that's changed now anyway, so a lot of that's different.
Yeah, some of that stuff's gotten easier.
Yeah, and if you're an Android user, like some of us are from the get-go, it's really hard to, switch. I have just gotten so used to it that I don't know. I don't know what it will take for me to switch. I just don't see me doing it.
Oh, well, I'm not asking anyone to switch, but I am saying I tend to think that iOS tends to do security a little bit better. I don't see companies saying we don't allow this iOS device connecting to our network, but I have seen that on the Android side, especially older Android devices.
Absolutely, yep.
And
if you're using Braille displays, especially that are using old versions of Android, a lot of people have been complaining that they can't connect up to work networks and stuff like that. Well,
of course, you had old Android devices that have issues. Even if you had encryption, you had apps like Commentary that could get past the encryption. By the way, not just Commentary, other accessibility services too. But if you had, if you were using full disk encryption, then there were ways to completely disable that, which is not a good thing. It did ask for permission to do it, but still not a good thing.
No.
And I think
someone
if
could
you're an
find a way of
Android
tricking
user,
it.
I think if you're an Android user now, and if you have been looking at the iOS stuff, especially since I have lately, there's a lot of similarity. I mean, both platforms are pretty much, let's face it, copying each other, really.
Yes. Yeah. Android
There's
is
a lot of the stuff that's the same.
see, the way I see it is Apple's copied a lot of the good stuff from Android, and is, in terms of accessibility, far surpassed Android in its customizability.
Oh, absolutely.
And in that, and if you think about what ability, so in Android, we have had the ability to customize our gestures for years. That's always been a part of TalkBack. But we are very much limited to the type of gestures that what we can assign TalkBack to be able to do. iOS has a lot more gestures that it gives you. And other than having a lot more gestures that it gives you, it also gives you a lot more options to assign those gestures to. Now, that's new. That's not that hasn't always been the case, but it is now. And so, in terms of customizability, VoiceOver trounces TalkBack any day. And I'm not an Apple user. I'm not an Apple fanboy or a Google fanboy or any other fanboy. I guess we're all kind of Google fanboys. I've been an Android user for a long time, but I'm kind of saying it as it is. And the reality is, at the moment, VoiceOver customizability is miles ahead of what Android is.
Well, I'm going to say it, and I've said it to you guys privately, but if we didn't have alternatives with Android accessibility, I would be back on iOS, because frankly, TalkBack is just really needs to pull its finger out, especially since we haven't even got proper copy and paste. We haven't even got table support. I mean, just two basic things there. So VoiceOver really does trounce pretty much anything out there.
Yeah, well, TalkBack is
fair.
a work in progress, and
Well, it's
I'm
been a
looking
work in
forward to
progress for a long time.
when we we'll get these things. Well, because Marco, though, if you've come from where we came from, this has been a real improvement, a huge improvement. Nima, remember the days of Froyo and and all of that. It was just really bad, and we
Honestly,
didn't
I
start
don't think
seeing.
that's a good enough excuse anymore, Warren. I mean, the
No,
reality
I'm
is that
just,
we all,
I'm just
we all
saying.
need,
Well,
want to
it's
be productive.
reality. We can't,
Well-
we can't say that nothing has changed, and if we say that, frankly, we're not being honest either. So,
I don't think
if-
that any of us have said nothing has changed.
know,
No,
I
if-
think
we haven't
iOS.
said that.
What I've said was iOS has caught up to Android and past Android in
no,
the area
I'm
of
talking
customizability.
about TalkBack. I'm saying that TalkBack, has come a long way from where it used to be, and that's why I'm looking back at things like
Well,
Froyo.
it has in some ways,
yeah.
but not in other ways. If you
No.
think about how far it's come, it's a shame that TalkBack ever got started without multi-finger gestures, frankly, or touchscreen support, because that iOS started with touchscreen support on
Yeah,
day
but
one.
TalkBack Android was focused on the keyboard. It wasn't, a touch
but it
device
had touch
from the
screens.
get-go. Yeah,
It
I
actually-
understand. But
Hold
the
on,
focus
Warren,
of
hold on, hold
Android
on.
was
Hold
the physical keyboard. That's why we had all those trackballs and stuff. What are we talking about here? It's
All right, let's mute Warren for a second because I want to talk here. He's going to be mad at me, but if you think about Android started out with touchscreens as well as keyboards and trackballs, but it did start out with touchscreens. iOS started out with touchscreens. Android did not provide an accessible way to access all the input methods of the phone. It did not have touchscreen support. We had Eyes Free Shell, but you couldn't access all parts of the OS using a touchscreen. So the fact that we say Android has come a long way, frankly, TalkBack should have never started without touchscreen support. It never should have. It always should have had touchscreen support. So that's not really. I don't think that's a good argument. I don't think it ever was a good argument, and I still don't think it is today. Web views haven't really gone a long way. Web views have been terrible from day one. We've still had issues with web views. But I wasn't talking about TalkBack, Warren, and to all our listeners. I'm not talking about what TalkBack is or isn't. What I'm saying is actually TalkBack had features that iOS did not have. TalkBack was customizable, and you could customize all its gestures and all its functions. I'm saying that iOS has caught up, and because it offers more functionality, it actually has surpassed TalkBack in that way. That's not TalkBack catching up or coming a long way. That's TalkBack, frankly, falling behind from it used to be better than iOS to iOS has gotten better than Android in that area. Now I'll unmute you, Warren, and you can disagree with me if you like. Otherwise, we'll start to wrap it up here.
Well, I don't believe that that TalkBack was ever ahead of the voiceover, and so I don't see the regression that you're talking about.
But it was VoiceOver never.
How was it over? How was
VoiceOver
it above,
never had
VoiceOver?
because VoiceOver never had the ability to customize gestures until the
The
last
most
iOS
frustrating
release.
thing
Yeah,
for a
but
voiceover
well,
user up until recently was that you couldn't actually do anything with it in terms of changing anything up. You
You
couldn't,
couldn't do
customize
any
gestures.
of
you
that.
couldn't
TalkBack has
do any of
always
that.
been able to do that, but VoiceOver could not. Same with haptics. Haptic support, which some users don't like, but others find really valuable. You didn't have those haptics when you moved around the OS with VoiceOver. Now you do. So there's a number of these features, and I think the customizability is a huge one that TalkBack used to say, hey, it actually did, and VoiceOver for longest time did not do.
And frankly, besides the multi-finger gestures that have come out, and I'm sure there's a couple of other bits that are coming out at the moment, over the last 2 years, there hasn't been a huge amount come out on TalkBack. Let's be fair. Nothing major. It's kind of stagnated.
We'll just have to agree to disagree on this, but
Yeah,
frankly,
well, if
for
you're
me,
listening
I
to this,
believe
let us know
that,
what you think.
TalkBack has come a long way compared to what it used to be.
I'm not
we don't
disagreeing that
disagree
it's come
with that.
some way, but I'm saying that over the last 2 or so years, it really, again, as I just said, besides the multi-finger thing, which is something that you either like or don't, I personally don't. If I'm going to do that, I might as well go back to iOS. But that's just my opinion. But besides that, I don't really think it's moved forward. It certainly hasn't moved forward with web accessibility. Not for a long time. Which is important to me.
Yeah. Now, I would say that TalkBack from the very beginning has come a long way, but I'm also saying TalkBack should have never started that far behind in the first place. And I'm saying that TalkBack needs to, at this point, I wasn't even saying TalkBack is better or worse. I was more saying VoiceOver has finally caught up and, in a way, passed TalkBack in terms of customizability. But anyway,
No, my reference was to Marcos saying that if it was not for whatever, he would be going back to,
Well, I'm being completely
whatever.
honest
And
with
I
you,
was
mate.
just
If
trying
there
to
was no
tell him that,
there
those
was no
of us who have been
alternative-
using TalkBack for a long time, we know where we've come from. And frankly, it's better than what it used to
frank
be.
with you, Warren, I don't think people that are coming onto the Android platform over the last couple of years couldn't give two hoots about where TalkBacks come from. They want a platform that's user-friendly. They want a system that's updating.
Yeah, you have to be
they want to see
user-friendly. You have to have
improvement.
productivity. You have to do all that today now. It doesn't matter
But I
about where
really
something
couldn't care
was
less
20
about
years
what
ago.
happened with TalkBack 10 years ago. And I don't think
Yeah.
you're going to find anyone that comes onto the platform is going to go back and go, oh, well, TalkBack started from this, and look at what
no,
it's
I
done.
agree. I mean, I have seen TalkBack come a long way, but users have certain expectations that you should be able to do certain things. It makes no difference where you started out. You either catch up to that level or you don't. And if you don't, then some users won't use the platform. And that's just that. Or they look for alternatives. And what a beauty Android is, because it gives us alternatives. So this is one of the benefits, people, of being on Android, right? So we have alternatives.
Well, you've got change, because with iOS you cannot, well, you've got VoiceOver and that's all you got. So,
That's exactly right.
yeah. So,
Harshad says, what I meant was when I search it on the Play Store, people might not know the spelling. The voice, V, capital O-I-C, lowercase e. Or you can search for the company name that makes it, or the website is Seeing with Sound. You can put that in with no spaces, SeeingWithSound. That's Seeing with Sound, and that will allow you to download the voice. And yeah, we can probably put that, link to that site in the show notes as well. So anyways, I think that'll wrap it up here, but I would like to invite everyone who's listening. If you have been listening, you've enjoyed this content and our raucous debating for today, please like this video. just know that we do all get along. We are all friends, and yeah. So anyway, like this, share it out to your friends, comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We do appreciate you
Hey,
listening.
and don't forget to tweet.
Yes, tweet us,
Yeah.
tweet. Yep, share
tweet.
it on Twitter, Facebook
chat.
us, Snack Chap or whatever it's
Oh, is that
called,
Snack Chap? Oh, yeah.
Snack Chap. I don't know.
And
Instagram.
don't forget, Marcos roasted crickets. Another noisy balls you guys can
Oh,
listen
yes.
to.
I'm glad you remember because I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, that's a podcast we're promoting now, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't pay us
Hey,
anything to
I-
promote it, but I mean, we're
I
promoting
think
it.
we should change the name of our podcast to Stinky Balls. I'm just putting that out to the listeners.
Sounds good.
What do you think?
I think I came up with that, though.
Yeah, I think you did.
Oh my gosh.
I think it fits with noisy balls, something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Stinky
Anyway.
droids.
If you guys have any questions for us, please submit those to anatadpodcast@gmail.com or
And
comments.
don't send
or
us any
thoughts.
spam.
Yes,
Please
don't send us
spam us.
spam unless you are willing to pay us.
No
in which case, go ahead.
offerings of moolah and all of that. We don't need that.
We actually got one that said, "Dear blind bargains." So clearly they think we are blind bargains now, really. Just because we were on that blind bargains thing. They think we
Oh,
are
wow.
blind bargains.
Okay.
See, that's how far $5 can get you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Sheesh.
And we thank you for listening for today's podcast. It's been episode number 53, and we will be back again next week. And we'll see you guys later.
Thank you, guys. And I guess the title of this is going to be a big fight.
Whoa. Goodbye, everybody. We'll catch you for 54 in a
Adios,
week's
my
time.
man.
Adios.
Bye.